guys really did a good job this weekend. What are your thoughts on your defense's performance?
I'm, thrilled to, go down to Miami and get a win. They really played outstanding. Miami's had a very good offense and really concerned about the matchups, and that was when we knew they're going to throw the ball. That was our first real big test of the year, being able to match up out in space and do a variety of things, and had to get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. It was going to be important, and so I thought our guys really executed very well, played with great focus and precision, and really satisfied that everybody that got in really played at a real high level. So despite whatever's happening with Miami, our guys really executed at a pretty high level. So it was again, the guys should feel good about themselves and be recognized for playing well. So now this week comes and it's a whole nother type of a test.
Do you think you answered any of the questions, the depth that you were talking about with linebackers, some other things with all the time you got Jalen and the guys?
Oh, I don't know. Answer questions. I know what the issues are. We know what the issues are. And anytime you can get guys, reps that are all valuable in developing depth, and we're far from being deep really anywhere right now. But that was a game that allowed us to get some guys better, no question.
Dorian's played a bunch more snaps for the last couple of games. Are you schemed for that? He was out there first.
19 snaps. Between the two of them, they played 30 some snaps between the two of them.
Is he
total.
ahead of Travis? Are they equal? Travis still the guy?
I would say they're equal. I trust both of them, and neither one of them had a bunch of snaps. So McKenzie played nickel for the whole game.
What does Jacoby Brissett present? I mean, they do a lot of multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
How does he present problems?
Well, he's a dual threat guy. He can run, he can throw it, and he's big and strong. He's hard to get down, smart. He's played a lot of football and has been, very successful in their system. So a guy with confidence and leadership qualities, all those things. Coaches probably put a lot on him because of his experience and his knowledge. So, as opposed to a freshman that's got limited experience. So he's talented.
He and Kaya both don't have a lot of interceptions. But
Mm-hmm.
Jacoby been a little bit more careful than Kaya.
Well, they're different systems, So, one is, 4 wide and attack you vertically and in the middle of the field and quick game. And then this offense is all their passing game is through their run game and complements it, through play action and what have you. They'll do a lot of quick throws as well when they do spread you out. And they get the balls to the backs, where they're not necessarily vulnerable to a lot of high-risk throws, so to speak. So it's just a style of what they do. It's smart, and I think that he makes really good decisions, and I think the scheme doesn't expose themselves ideally to a lot of those risky kind of situations with the balls going over the middle of the field frequently, like we saw with Miami.
NC State had 4 touchdowns and 50-plus yards last
Mm-hmm.
week. Do you have to really emphasize not giving up those big plays
Well, I
this week?
think it shows they've got explosive players. Wake Forest is a very well-coached defense, very sound in what they do, and it just shows you. And they were not in bad calls. They made competitive plays on the football. Running back breaks, had a 85-yarder and a 60-yarder because he's a good player, and they do a very good job. It's not like they tricked anybody, and so you got to play sound. We see good players week in and week out that can take the top off the defense anytime, and again, Seven Hines, who we recruited as a state meter champ in North Carolina, and he got behind a DB, and the guy makes an incredible throw, puts it right where his guy can catch it, and so those are, that's not surprising. He did it a year ago too, Brissett, and he's got some good players, and but 21 and 28 and 7 are excellent skill guys, and 7 is a great returner as well, and they're just getting him comfortable with what they're doing. But he's a jet sweep guy, and those backs lead the team in receptions, but they're not all just underneath routes too. They do get them vertical.
Are you at all surprised at this point in the season, halfway through, so many young guys, my brother's guys, again, you got this defense back, top 5, and you played some pretty good stuff. Is that at all? Do you think it would take a little longer, or you not surprised at all?
I don't know. I think week to week it's how you match up, and thankfully we haven't had to rely on young guys like freshmen. Christian is surrounded by, he gets in there one of the more snaps than a lot of the freshmen anyway. And I know you're looking at starters, things of that nature, but just some guys have come on. Cordray Tankersley has really come on. Kevin Dodd has really been what we hoped he would, and maybe that was wishful thinking. We just didn't know. Those two guys in particular, the inside guys, we thought they'd be solid, and they've been every bit that. And then Christian has been an added bonus. And then the linebacker play's been super consistent. We had a bunch of returners in the secondary. They've played to our expectation, and we can continue to play even better. But I think Cordray has really helped us, his development. Kevin Dodd being able to play, and both those ends have played a ton of snaps, and so their ability to play a lot of snaps, and then the linebacker consistency. Just again, execute the game plan, fit in the gaps, make the plays you're supposed to make. Don't have to be Superman, and I think everybody's kind of complemented each other well, and we've really, these last few games, have started to develop an identity and chemistry. And I think our guys are really, I think that they recognize that they can be pretty solid, and I think they're hungry for it now. They've talked a big game early in the year, but you got to go out and do it week in and week out. And now we've got a stretch here where we're going to need them more now than ever to be really good. And so hopefully we can meet those expectations. But for the first time these last few weeks, you've really felt a great deal of confidence in the way they've their attitude and their preparation, and then the consistency that we're executing at, where again guys aren't trying to do too much, or they're not trying to be themselves. We're kind of developing into a good cohesive defensive unit.
McKenzie's been obviously a heavily talked about guy, not a lot of action his side of the field. Has Tankersley kind of been one of the unsung heroes of this defense this year?
I think it's fair to say that people have thrown more his way, and he's answered the bell. And good for him, good for us. There's a big question mark there, and I think what you've seen as he came out the gates a little bit of unsure of himself, and he's continuing to work and develop. The more experience he's gained and the success that he's had has validated what Coach Reed's teaching him, and certainly his technique and understanding his role and those types of things. So that's really his presence and his playmaking ability, and how he's come on has really helped the flexibility of what we're doing. Again, just making simple plays. That's all we're asking. Maintain the right leverage. Here's where your help is. If we're in cloud coverage and we need you to run support, beat the block, read the right thing, show up, just all the little things. But that's really helped solidify us.
Coach, what's your evaluation of how DJ Reader looked, and is he close to the level he was back in August?
I think he's got a ways to go to be close, whatever close is. He was really pretty, I don't like to use the word, but he was pretty spectacular in fall camp through a couple of weeks, man, it was just like, wow. And, he's got work to do to get back to that level, but he sure looked good to me getting off the bus. I don't know, he had 5 tackles, I think. He makes a really good play. I think it shows his athletic ability, where he scrambles, the quarterback scrambles, and him and Kevin Dodd converge on the quarterback over on our sideline for whatever he is, 330 pounds, whatever. But played really hard, and it's just good to have him back. It's another fresh body. So he's feeling his way back, but I think it shows, again, his instincts, and he gets in there and makes 5 tackles for a D tackle. That's pretty good.
Adrian Baker played, I think, twice as many snaps as Ryan Carter last week. Was that scheme, or was it?
He started he started in the nickel package on early downs, and when they were in their 11 personnel, McKenzie was at nickel and Adrian was starting at wide corner.
And was Carter okay? Is that why he just working his way back from that hamstring injury? He only had about 13
Who would
snaps.
you put at nickel, McKenzie or Carter?
Well, no, I know, but like later in the game, he didn't work in a whole lot of snaps. I didn't know if it was just injury related.
He's still working himself back. I think he's healthy, though, and he was healthy last week. But just through practice and evaluating, you don't just stay there because that's where you were the week before. You got to, unless you really have a long history of credibility and playmaking and trust and all those things. So a lot of times it's just trust. Can you execute? You're supposed to maintain inside leverage, stay inside. If you're supposed to sugar like you're blitzing and then drop off into coverage, then do it, whatever it is. And so sometimes it's game day feel, body language, answering questions, and so that's sometimes as coaches we got to make those decisions based on some things leading right up to the game, or what's going on the sideline, whether it's him or anybody else. That plays a part of it week in and week out, big time.
And you like what you saw out of Baker?
Yeah. Did you? I mean, I don't know. We played pretty good. So he did well. Adrian did well. I know you're asking because you want me to compliment Adrian. Adrian really did well. Really executed. It was a big part of, I think, our success. His readiness to play, execute. Had an excellent week of practice, and really just did his job. Really pleased for him. That's going to help us, moving forward, developing him and getting him some confidence. He's a lot like Cordray, that, when scheme-wise with what we do, sometimes that can challenge your confidence, a little bit, because we're going to isolate you and force you to, social Darwinism, survival of the fittest. And a lot of times young guys aren't necessarily ready for that, but we don't really ease into anything. So that was big for him. Really happy for him. Happy for us. Happy for him. And got to go home and play in front of friends and family and do well.
Piggyback off a question asked earlier, you lose all the guys to get this defense up to the level that it is right now. I know it's only 7 games in, but you're 7-0, and some pretty impressive performances there. You're getting a lot of love for that nationally. Things we talked about an awful lot. Do you allow yourself to give yourself an attaboy at this point?
No, I mean, because I recognize how all that happens. First, it's the players' willingness to buy in and work, and their ability, their skill, and then it's our coaches, coaching them and teaching them and inspiring them and challenging them and getting them ready and repping them in fundamentals. And I get way too much credit for that. It's all of us, and it's a system that should work. And when these players leave, our expectation won't change. And but you first and foremost got to have the right tools, and we certainly do. But you have to have the right kind of culture, and you have to have good coaches that are out there putting them in position to be successful, and then the guys understanding, investing during the week and understanding their jobs, and then doing them and playing with effort. But we got great leadership with our players, and great leadership with all of our assistant coaches, and so it definitely isn't me. It's our system, it's our players, it's our coaches.
Coach, you got to play a lot of guys this past week. a lot of guys that were very productive in those situations. Given the need to develop depth in several areas on your side of the ball, has it been has the climb been a track that you like?
Well, you always want more. You always like to give them more exposure. So it's never enough. You know, we've been in some real tight games, and sometimes us coaches are afraid of our own shadow in those situations, and we think that next guy comes in and it's an automatic touchdown. And sometimes, you know, we don't give them enough credit, but whatever. But so we've been in just some tight games, and so, again, sometimes, as I said before, it's you kind of prove yourself during the course of the week, and sometimes you've proved yourself, and then we still didn't give you the opportunity, and so we got to try to keep that guy engaged and tell him you're sorry, and you deserve to play, and I'm working on it, and those types of things. A guy like Van Smith gets in there, and he's a third-team strong safety, and he just smoked it, man. He was ready, and good for him. And those things for us as coaches, that really earns our trust quickly. And I think it gains him confidence too, that I got this. And so it's never enough. We'd like to, you know, continue to play more guys, and, you know, if we're, you know, ideally that's going to help us, you know, get an injury or something like that. So.
You guys have 3 shutouts in 16 games. We hear a lot about that being the goal every week, but do you think of a precedent in your coaching career to have that kind of stretch?
I didn't know that and wouldn't know that. I know we shut them out last week, and so that was a big deal, just in the fashion that it happened. Just playing well, it means more than anything, and sometimes the byproduct of that is a shutout, and not very often. So, you know, you don't want to not recognize it, but the big picture is, you know, playing well and playing consistent and giving yourself a chance to win, and that's the most pleasing part of all of that.
Coach, you're leading the country in 3 and outs, and again, the third down defense is one of the best in the country. What is it about your defensive scheme that allows that part of the game to be attacked?
I think it's, I don't know if it's the scheme, you know, our players understanding what's coming. We emphasize it starting immediately on Monday, and I think our coaches do a good job of putting the right things in front of the guys, and their recognition, anticipation, their readiness for the different situations. 3rd and 2 is different than 3rd and 4 in this personnel group, and here's why, here's what to expect. When they do this, this is what you're going to, and so all of those things, and then execution of technique and the fundamentals, and so that's players, and again, just the readiness. You know, I think we emphasize it, not that everybody doesn't, but we spend a great deal of time at the beginning of the week, you know, trying to emphasize 3rd downs every single day, and not waiting, okay, let's wait and let's do third and short on one day, and let's wait till Wednesday to do 3rd and long. We're trying to, you know, expose them as much as we can, and we've done that for, you know, a long time, and so it's, again, all those same factors, and how you play well overall, I think, trans into playing well again on 3rd downs as well.
Is that a philosophy that you developed in here at Clemson, or is that something that you carry like with your Kansas State days?
Long time, you know, 3rd downs, and just like, you know, and everybody puts new wrinkles in every week. We do on defense, and they do on offense, and that's just part of the game. You try to apply your concepts when you see new things and make quick adjustments if need be, but you know, we've always have spent a great deal of time try to be precise. Doesn't always work, but trying to be precise in critical situations, but we want to be precise all the time, you know, not just here and there. So.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Right.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep. Got it.
Go ahead.